Welcome back to the show. When it comes to having a baby, support makes all the difference. That's why a mini conference later this month is focusing on Black maternal health. Courtney West is a doula and also an educator with 3 Gems Birth Services, and she's here to tell us more about this conference. So welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, this is such an important topic. Can you talk about why we need this type of conference in the first place?
Absolutely. So many people have heard, the topics of Black maternal health and that, Black women are dying 4 to 5 times the rate as anybody else. But the question is, no one talks about why. Why is this happening? And some people believe that this has always been. Is it a pre-existing condition? Is there something that is wrong? And then in this conference, we really dive into this conversation and tell people, no, this was not always a thing. And then giving you the history of where it came from. And not only where it came from, but how do we fix it?
Yeah, so where did it come from? Because you were saying like before the 60s, we didn't have this discrepancy, right?
So before integration, it was very common in communities that Black communities took care of themselves, so we had midwives. And what many people don't know, that midwives literally birthed the South, Black and white. And so when the medical system came in and decided that they wanted to take over birth and be in charge of birth is when we start seeing the disparities. So when we had integration, people weren't aware that when that happened for Black people, that we weren't giving birth in a hospital with light and sunshine, we were giving birth in the basement. So what does that do to a person where you're going from a community that loves and supports you to give birth to being in places that people don't want you, and then to give you that type of treatment? And so a lot of times when it comes to understanding healthcare, healthcare was built on a racist thought process. So many people aren't aware from the antebellum period, that was an enslavement, where we got the birth of gynecology were done on Black bodies.
Right, so talk about this conference and what you want to accomplish at this conference.
In the conference, what we're doing is we want to give the history of how. The history of grand midwives, understanding the maternal and the mental health aspects that come with this, and then also showing space of, hey, this is what happens in our communities, in our backyard, and then how do we fix it? And really highlighting birth workers. And we are the key to fixing the issue. Having doulas, which we give support in a way that we're supporting that are not on the medical aspect, but we're giving community resources, we're holding your hand, and we're holding space for you in these birth situations and letting you know your options. And then also having midwives. Midwives are still here. We're prominent, and that they can help you during your birth experiences, and that you have choices. So this is what the conference is about, is to give people an understanding of what this is, and not that this is not just Black history, this is American history.
And we were talking earlier that you want everyone to come. This isn't just for Black women, it's for everyone to be involved.
Absolutely, it's not just for Black women, it's just not for pregnant women. It is for everyone to be able to come into this space and to learn something. I believe very strongly is you can't help be better if you don't know what the problem is and the root of the cause. So by having these open conversations, we can really make more work get done.
And the conference is being held at Florida-Rama. Right? But it's also being sponsored by the Mother's Museum, or the Mom's Museum, right?
The Museum of Motherhood has been doing this work for many, many years, and they are the only museum in the world that is dedicated to mothers. So they love to hold safe spaces for families and for moms to have these conversations. So they are putting on the brunch, but we're having it in Florida-Rama.
Love it. How can someone find out more information about you and if they want to attend the conference?
Absolutely. If you're interested in going to the conference, I suggest you going to the Museum of Motherhood website and going up, and you can get tickets. And for myself, looking into IG, Facebook for 3 Gems Birth Services. So in my care, everyone deserves care.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Thank you so much for
really
having
appreciate
me.
it.